One of the things that I think majority of us think about when it comes to the Rosary is that it's a private devotion.
Hey, I'm Father Mark Mary.
I'm Father Joseph Anthony Kress.
I am a Franciscan friar of the Renewal.
And I'm a Dominican friar of the province of St. Joseph.
So Father Joseph Anthony is with us. He is one of the hosts of the Godsplaining podcast, and also he has the role of promoter of the Rosary, and he's here to talk about a little bit of what he does and also introduce us to Rosary confraternities.
Thank you for the invitation to kind of have this conversation. Thinking of the Rosary as being this kind of rhythm of prayer, St. John Paul II would talk about it as helping us to contemplate the face of Jesus alongside his Blessed Mother. Having this mode of prayer that is actually focused in a very Christological way, contemplating the face of Jesus in the mysteries of his life, but doing so alongside of his mother in asking her to guide us in that. You can always talk about how a mother knows their child the best. They know their face, the giggles, the smiles. So learning to look at the face of Jesus alongside his mother, I think is how we enter into the Rosary in that way.
What is the goal of the promoter of the Rosary?
It is a role that all of our provinces of Dominicans have to identify a friar, and it takes different forms and different iterations and generations and things like that. Right now, what we're looking for out of the promoter of the Rosary is to, one, promote the devotion to the Rosary, devote devotion to Our Lady through the praying of the Rosary, but also to encourage the faithful to join together in praying the Rosary in the confraternities of the Rosary. These are ancient confraternities that are hundreds of years old, and they give us the opportunity as faithful to come together in a kind of a unified body and offer our prayers with each other, but also to receive the graces and share and participate in the graces of each other because we've joined this committed way of praying together. One of the things that I think majority of us think about when it comes to the Rosary is that it's a private devotion. You know, this is what I do by my bedside. This is what I do with my morning coffee. But the confraternity takes that reality, does not dismiss it, but gives it a fullness by joining a private prayer of devotion in communion with each other. So all the members of the confraternity, they offer parts of their Rosary with each other. We commit to praying 15 decades of the Rosary a week. And then from there, we participate in the graces that each other receives through those prayers of the Rosary.
If you were to kind of list, say, like 3 reasons why, like, praying the Rosary in the context of a confraternity, why would that be more advantageous than just sort of praying the Rosary on your own?
It starts to chip away at one of the great lies of the evil one. Is the evil one wants to bring us into isolation. And I think there can be a slight manipulation even with our devotional life. This is mine. I possess this, and this is what I do in private. In the fullness of our faith, you know, being Catholic is always both and type of a thing. I do have my own personal devotions, but I unite those in a communal activity. The second thing is that we are entered into a multi-generational, multi-centrally tried and true method. That was one of the things that attracted me to the Dominican order, is the fact that this was tried and true over many generations. And the Rosary is a tried and true method of prayer and gives us a certain accountability to praying it each and every week in that way. So I think it's a very tried and true path towards sanctification and holiness. And the last thing that I think why we should join a confraternity is that it does hold us accountable. We make a commitment to something. It's a very low bar of commitment, right? Enroll our names, commit to this prayer, but to always have something that keeps us accountable to it. That it's not just, oh, I'm tired and I go off of my current emotional state for the day, but I do have the opportunity to actually know that I'm committing to something and being held accountable for that.
Can you share just a little bit on, like, the definition of a confraternity and any of the history of it that you know?
Yeah, so a confraternity is an official organization. This is not just kind of a gathering of friends or buddies or things like that. It has a status in the church as being confirmed by the Holy See, and they attach particular graces to it. So the Confraternity of the Rosary has been over 500 years old. Some of the earliest ones, we go back even earlier than that. And the membership, sometimes people get kind of scared off by membership. Like, do I have to pay dues? Do I have to attend meetings or things like that? But the membership is very simple, is to express a desire to participate in the confraternity, to enroll your name, and commit to a certain activity. And then with the confraternity of the Rosary, the activity is 15 decades a week. And so it's very accessible to many people, and I think can shower abundant graces in our lives in that way.
And so for those who are, interested in learning a little bit more about a confraternity of the Rosary, how do they, what would be the next step? How do they go about that?
Yeah, the next step is we have a website, rosaryconfraternity.org, and you can find more information, kind of all the documents there and ways to join, so ways to kind of sign up and join for that. Another really great option for the confraternity is to establish your local chapter of the confraternity at your local parish. And we've seen beautiful gifts and graces by parishes who have established a confraternity inside of their parish community, and then bringing the Rosary into that kind of public recitation or that public sphere, praying it after Saturday's Mass, or creating rosaries to hand out in hospitals or things like that. A lot of these confraternities get very creative because they're a unified work in that way. So I think check out the website and you'll find more information for your personal joining or to do it establishing it in your parish.
All right, thanks for watching. Remember, we are pilgrims on the earth, somos peregrinos, poco a poco, little by little. Vamos a llegar, we're gonna make it. All right, see y'all. Thanks, Padre.